generals win the war, but the politicos, the politicians, make the peace. We have an environment here that when a player leaves here, we can shake hands and say, we won't forget you. You be proud that you wore the patch, you wore the silver and black, and that you played for the greatest organization in professional sports.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's your boy, the Good Raiders. This is the new hour. This is the new time that we will be streaming 9 p.m. This works better for me, works better for you guys, and works better for all of Raider Nation. So, let us begin by talking about the topic. The topic today, the official topic today, will be the Las Vegas Raiders defensive backs. We are going to break down each player on of the defensive backs, where they fit, what kind of players they are, their prototypes, who I think will be starting because this year, the most interesting position for the Raiders actually may be the defensive backs. It actually legitimately may be the defensive backs because I can tell you guys right now, there's only one official starter for the Raiders defensive backs. There's really only one starter. Every single other position, including the backup positions, are very, very, very much in play. We do not have a starter. Uh, what the? Let me make sure we go. We do not have a starter really in any of those positions except for one. So that's what we'll be going over. However, while we wait for people to come in here, while we wait for people to get in here, let's talk about. Actually, let me not make some of this stuff show. Let's hide that. Let's hide that. Gives us a little bit more room. Oh, come on, buddy. Whatever. Before that, we are gonna do a couple. I want to listen to some interviews with Raider players, just to gauge their mind where they're at, how camp is going, what's the energy for this year is going to be. So, ladies and gentlemen, that will be the start of the stream here. We are going to listen to, starting with Quiddy Pay, Paul Gutierrez interviewing Quiddy Pay, just to get an idea of how camp is going, where his head is at. Quiddy, for those who don't know, is the Raiders' new defensive end. Quiddy is a very good defensive end, very good against the run, can and also can get you between 8 to 10 sacks a year. So that is a very good defensive end. So let us begin by just listening to him and what he has to say.
Not quite as hot as it's going to get, but again, thanks for your time.
Yes, sir.
So you were in here with me back in March, the day that you signed your contract, and we kind of stopped that interview and we talked a little bit about another passion of yours off the field, your photography. So I want to show you a picture here real quick of something that you take a lot of pride in, not just the photos, but the fit.
That's a nice little fit, yeah.
Yo, he's wearing a U.S. Marine Corps fit. All right, okay.
So tell me what goes into this whole package here that you got going on.
You know, honestly, here, pulling up to the Chrome store in Japan, I had the Chrome hat.
This is in Japan?
Where I got the hoodie from, but just going with the greens, neutrals, and just put the fit together, man. I like just putting outfits together.
Photos and fit, and you talked about traveling as well, going to Japan, like you mentioned. I got a favor to ask of you. Mm-hmm. I dabbled in a little photography when I was first coming up in the industry as well, and I used to go to Raider games. And I know you use your Fujifilm camera. I use a Canon EOS 650 with a 70 to 210 zoom lens. So I want to show you a couple pictures here to get your thoughts.
Hey, okay.
I got Howie Long. If you look at the background, that's Bo Jackson. That's Bo's last game.
Really? Oh my goodness. That's actually pretty dope.
Oh, these are tough.
Marcus Allen taking the handoff from Todd Marinovich in Todd's first ever start.
Yeah.
That's kind of my Raider noir. Look at all the cups and the tape on the ground. Bo Jackson.
Oh, you're a big one.
Man.
And there it is right there. Just the havoc in a pocket. Derek Thomas. chasing down Todd Rinnich.
Jeez.
How could I improve on some?
That's pretty
photos?
dope. Okay, let's move to some
Everything
actual
that goes
questions.
on in the pocket. How would you describe what goes on covering this team? But get those pictures when I was like 19, 20, 21 years old, and now I'm older than that, covering this team, but getting to talk to you guys. In that last picture right there, the havoc, everything that goes on in the pocket. How would you describe what goes on in the pocket from your position coming in off the edge?
I think it's just beautiful chaos. You know, it's a race to the quarterback, trying to just wreak havoc, try to just muddy up the pocket, try to get right back in, just an easier job. You know, that's our job, you know, just to go in there, mess everything up, and then everybody just cleans it up.
Beautiful havoc.
And he's right. That's the job of the defensive lineman, just to muddle up everything and then have the backers essentially clean it up, right? If you can get to the quarterback, great. If you can't, disrupt them enough for the backers to essentially get to the quarterback. Good answer.
Yes, sir.
How has it been going for you thus far? When we talked before, you literally just signed. You talked about the potential of joining Max Crosby, and Max is still rehabbing from his injury. But you guys are in OTAs. You're in week 3 of OTAs now, getting ready to go into mandatory minicamp. How have things been coming along for you on a personal level?
I think everything's been great. You know, Robbie's done a great job of doing the installs every single day. I feel like the defense is coming together and, man, just giving each other our roles. And, you know, he has me moving around everywhere. So learning a bunch of different positions, different spots, it's been amazing. It's been great.
We talked a little bit before as well back in March.
Different positions, different spots. For Quaterback, I think that means different spots on the defensive line, not linebacker, because I guarantee you Quaterback is not anywhere near linebacker. He is a pure edge, perfect size to stop the run and also make an impact on the other side. So I do wonder if, because I'm going to a 3-4, he's going to be playing inside and outside of that lineman position, which will give us more options for packages. Because we've already been through this. If we put someone like Quaterback in the middle, playing like makeshift nose tackle, and then you put like Kieran Crawford and Max Crosby next to him, you would get a really good speed package against the offense. That would be more like 3rd and long. When we know there's no running coming, you put those 3 in the front there. They should be good enough to create enough pressure with a couple blitzes coming from the backside. That could be beautiful. So I do think that's what he means by getting moved around, because it's not just going to be an edge. In the 3-4, he will also most likely play inside as well as outside of the line position.
About changing to a base 3-4, and you were totally fine with that, you say, because you could play any position on the defensive line, you said.
Exactly.
Watching some of the practices, you primarily working on one side. How would you describe to the average fan what the difference is between a 4-3, a 3-4, playing a wide 9, playing stand-up? How would you describe all that inside baseball kind of stuff?
Yeah, you know, just kind of like the technique part of it. You know, like my rookie year, we played majority 4-3, and we played a lot of 6-techs, you know. So, you know, a squatted position, you know, playing the C-gap a lot of times. But now we're playing more.
You said C-gap, so it's playing C-gap most of the time. So that's the on the 4-3, C-gap is the edge. That is purely the edge. You can stun into a B-gap, but the C-gap is where the edge is going to.
Dash 9s on the edge, just crushing the edge, eliminating the D, the C-gap, whatever, and then, you know, just mixing it up, you know, going from playing Sam.
D-gap happens when you have a tight end. The C-gap will turn into a D-gap. With the tight end there next to the tackle.
I have a bunch of coverages, and then with the coverages, I have a bunch of pre-snap adjustments with the end to my side, and it's a lot that goes into it. It's a lot of rules, and it's a lot of different formations that we have to be on. But man, I feel like Robbie's done a great job just keeping us on top of everything.
Now, this is your first time playing for Robbie as the defensive coordinator. He was a long-time defensive line coach as well. So have you noticed, or have you heard from the other guys on the defensive line just how different it is for him in that new role?
No, I feel like he's filled the position extremely well. You know, I feel like he's been ready for the position. You know, when guys, you know, like the guys spoke about how like on the details he was, and then he's always in our indie period, and he's always there, and I could see it firsthand. Like, and like he's just getting everyone better. So yeah.
Okay.
There's one last week in that seat. I had DJ Glaze, and you're getting real comfortable or familiar with him anyway, going up against him in practice.
I want to hear this part.
Or anything yet, obviously, but I asked him from an offensive lineman's perspective how important the success rate is when it comes to design or desire. And I guess on the defensive line, it's kind of the same thing. whether you're getting home or not, it's so much of a percentage going to be the design of the play or the play call as opposed to the desire of the player that's out there.
Yeah.
How would you describe that?
You know, I feel like the players make the calls come to life, and the DCs preach that all the time. They can call it, but
that makes sense.
we have to make it come to life.
Essentially, they can call whatever plays they want. The players still have to bring it to life. That's what he's talking about. That's a really, really good question. Like, what determines when you get the sack? Is that the play or is that the desire? And the answer is it's both, right? A good play executed well by a player who has a desire to get to the quarterback is going to execute that play really well. So this is really good. Again, one of the really cool things with the Raiders this year is to move into a 3-4 base defense because, as I said before, the real reason you want to move to a 3-4 is to get more versatility. Because once you move that one lineman back a little bit more, you just get a lot more options as to where to line people up, where to stun people from, and when to create those mismatches for the offense. So really good question, really good answer.
Life and be out there and just do our 111. You have to be very selfless. You have to sacrifice yourself. Sometimes the play is not meant for you, and that's okay. You have to go ahead and sacrifice your body to make somebody else come free and get the sack, get the pressure.
Okay, so this is really, really cool because defensive. I'm sorry, you guys didn't see him answer that. But let's talk about it. So the defensive ends, especially a Quiddy Pay type of defensive end, they don't actually get schemed themselves to get the sack because Quiddy Pay is really more of a really good end anchor. He wants to make sure he contains the edge so nothing gets away from that on the outside there. So he's not going to be a 20 sack player, right? It's mostly because Quiddy Pay doesn't have enough burst. He's obviously not Myles Garrett, right? So you're not really going to be skimming him up to get those sacks. But what Quiddy Pay will do really well is Quiddy Pay will take his assignment, do it really well to skim up the guys behind him who are going to come in with the sack. Remember, I said it before, Nakobe Dean is one of the best blitzers in the NFL coming from the linebacker position. Now, imagine Nakobe Dean coming from the linebacker position with the Quiddy Pay opening up those gaps. That's really why we got Quiddy Pay, and I think people need to understand Quiddy Pay is very good at what he does. Quiddy Pay is borderline all pro. Right, he has some injuries, but when he's really clicking, he's going to be borderline all pro, namely because he's so good against the run and good against the pass, right?
Get the pick, whatever it may be, and that's just all coming together and just trying to win, and that's just trying to win.
So you're a veteran in the room. You're new to the organization, but a veteran in the room. Malcolm Kuhn's a veteran on the other side.
Yes.
Also bringing in Key in the draft.
Okay, so they did mention Malcolm Kuhn's on the other side. Okay, the way he just said that kind of leaves the question for Max Crosby, because if he's on that side and Malcolm Kuhn is on the other side, does that mean that Crosby is actually playing outside linebacker? I've said this before, and I'll say it again. There is a reason the Raiders were willing to trade Max Crosby. It's because, technically speaking, we don't really need him, or at least we don't need him yet. We're not really pushing for a Super Bowl right now, and what he can do would help the team out. But if he wasn't on the team, there's an argument to be made that without Max Crosby on the Raiders, other people within the defensive line would actually flourish, and the defensive line may actually function more normally like a defensive line, right? But again, to not go against our boy Max, once Max is on the team, now you can see a situation where we do skim up Max to get in and get those sacks, and that would be in the form of stunning him, combining that with the blitz from Nakobe Dean, or even a Kane Sloan. And I've mentioned that Kane Sloan should be a linebacker. Those schemes should be able to help open up Max Crosby to potentially get more sacks. So, if Max Crosby is healthy with the new additions, in an ideal situation, Max Crosby should be getting between 12 to 14 sacks, hopefully with proper scheming. So that's kind of the goal there. At least that's my goal there. Let's see. We'll see what happens, but that is what he's talking about here.
What have you seen from him?
From Key?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, he's just a guy that just wants to learn all the time. he's been working extremely well. Everyone in the room's been proud of him, and just seeing him work. So the young guys have been playing well. They've been improving. Cleveland and Gary. Just a bunch of young guys. Just
Okay, Cleveland. For those who follow my channel, there is a Cleveland. He's talking about Brandon Cleveland. There is a full Brandon Cleveland breakdown coming probably tomorrow. We're gonna talk about his technique and really why I think he might be a steal. Namely that Cleveland is very, very strong. He's really strong. He's about 325, 315. And that may make you think that he's going to be a nose tackle. But at 315, he may not be a full nose tackle. He actually may just be a really good defensive tackle who is going to be able to be schemed up to potentially get the rush. I'm telling you, when you see the breakdown, you'll see there is some pretty big upside with Brandon Cleveland hopefully getting realized. I also did suggest that if he wants to kind of go down a little bit in weight, go to more to around like 305, he can be a really quick defensive end to push in there. But I do think 315 is really good for just a standard defensive tackle who can also potentially pursue the quarterback. And Brandon Cleveland does have really good balance for somebody who's as big as he is. He has very good balance, as you will see in the in the breakdown. That's hopefully coming tomorrow.
proving every single day, just taking the coaching and just trying to elevate.
One of the things that Rob Leonard talked about was one of the reasons he wanted to come to the Raiders in the first place was to coach Max Crosby. Mm-hmm. He said Max is doing everything but getting on the field and practicing with you guys right now. Mm-hmm. And I know how excited you were to potentially team up with him. Mm-hmm. What has that process been like thus far from your perspective?
Yeah, he's been there every single day. He's on the sideline coaching us, just giving us pointers in the meeting rooms. And, honestly, it's been great for a lot of the younger guys because they're getting more opportunities, more rushes, more chances to just play, and I feel like it's been amazing.
It's early, obviously. How are you feeling that defense is coming along? And at this point, I guess the defense should be ahead of the offense, right? Yeah. What is that kind of coalition of everything that's been going on? What does that feel like so far?
I feel like it's coming along pretty well. We got to be, just on it with the communication. I feel like we've been coming along. It's been a huge playbook. Everyone's just dove into it. Mm-hmm. And, I feel like we've been taking it well.
Okay.
So when we're able to go out there and watch an OTAs, and next week coming up is going to be the mandatory mini camp. So it'll get a little more real out there, I guess. Still no pads or anything till training camp. But there's a couple new faces on the other side of the ball, quarterback wise. And Kirk Cousins, I know you've got one game of history with him. Not a happy game for you, I'm sure.
Oh, man, don't even bring it up.
Okay. I don't know what they're talking about here.
33-0 at halftime, 36-7 in the third quarter.
We're going to end this one there. This is a really good interview by Quaterback. I am going to post this for those who kind of want an idea, get into the mind of the defensive of our defensive ends a bit. This is a really good interview. Thanks for watching this. I will post this to the main channel, but we're gonna move on to the next topic. I'm gonna watch a couple more interviews and kind of see what players are saying overall. So let's go.
Get a sack on him though.
Yeah, I got.
All right, let's go. Let's go back a bit. There was a real defensive assistant coach. Let's go here. This was 8 days ago, not 10 hours ago, 1 day ago. Fernando talks a lot, so let's kind of just hear other people for a second. I know Fernando is the most important. I want to do something. I'm checking something real quick. Don't mind me. I feel like my recordings are a little bit staticky. Ladies and gentlemen, U.S. Marine Corps. The sun is not even getting recorded. Oh, it is, but it's low. Okay. D-gap happens when you have perfect. I think you guys can hear it. As long as you guys can hear it, should be good. Let's move on. Okay, this is a couple coaches. I'm gonna push record on this. Just kind of see what they have to say and see if we can get anything particularly great out of this one. Let's go.
All right. First, I just want to say real quick, just really want to thank, because I haven't been up here yet, but I really want to thank ownership, Coach Kubiak and Spy for bringing me in. It's been unbelievable. It's been a
Man,
great few.
I really want some Raider merch. I just don't. I don't have the funds to buy it. I would love that camouflage one right there, man. So, if anyone in the in chat is feeling generous, put some put some donations in the coffers because we gotta get some Raider merch. We just don't got the resources for that yet. So I'm kind of prioritizing the stream over getting Raider stuff. Right? That's why you don't really see any Raider stuff behind me. I don't have the funds for it yet. Gotta prioritize the stream mics and all of that. All this stuff is expensive. But hey, you know what? Support your boy and we keep going. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's have some fun.
Months. Can't wait to get this thing rocking and rolling for sure. But just wanted to mention that. So
I'm gonna
let's go
take
ahead
a
and rock and roll.
quick water break just
Track and
in
shoot
case I
to
get
the
thirsty.
What about
Okay, we're back. We're back. We're back. Let's get back to it.
Clint Kubiak contracted you to come here to Las Vegas?
Well, I worked for his dad. His dad actually played for us in Denver when I first started. He was a quarterback there. Had a chance.
His father
he
is
asked
Gary
me to
Kubiak.
come with him a couple other times, and I wasn't able to go with him because I was under contract to a few other places. But a ton of respect for the family. And then I worked with Clint for a year when he was quality control in 16. So I'd already had a relationship with him. It just worked out great. There's a lot of similarities between him and his dad, but there's some differences too. He's both are very, very detail oriented. They love ball, which I think is huge, and he's done a great job of organizing things since he's been here, which I knew he would. So it's great to be with him for sure, and the whole staff. I worked with a few guys that are on the staff also.
Your cousin said yesterday that Kubiak comes into the building with a sense of urgency. Like he wants to get the ball rolling. Do you kind of sense that as well from him?
Oh yeah, he's all ball, man. I mean, he's just very serious.
Yeah, that is the one thing about Kubiak. He is all ball. Now, no need to pretend like that means immediate success. But he does come from a very, very successful football family, football coaching family. So he does have a really good knowledge of the game. And as people say, he just is a football guy. So hey, if anyone's going to succeed as an NFL coach for the Raiders, it's got to be a football guy, right? That's the only thing that would kind of make sense. You got to be a football guy. He's a football guy, right?
He's a little bit like a lawyer, man. When you starts talking, you're billing hours right there with him for sure. I mean, it's all ball for him, which is great. That's nice to be able to work with, and he's a good person too. I mean, that can't be talked about enough because in our business, it's not always like that. But he's a great person.
Okay.
When you look at Dylan Lobby, he's different position, but he's a Swiss Army knife like our friend Mike Furry, just sticks in the league. Will you talk about Dylan and how you see him evolving?
Dylan Lauby. I'm gonna skip over this one because I'm not expecting much from Dylan Lauby. I would only expect anything from Dylan Lauby if I actually see it. Other than that, Dylan Lauby is like a running back. He's like a third string running back. I'm gonna skip down for a bit.
What it's been like watching them go ahead?
Well, first of all, I think when they came in, the good thing about having Matt, I've been with him before, and Matt's really helped Special K quite a bit. He's done a good job as far as getting him squared away with some of his technique and some of that, which is great for an older guy to be able to do, especially when you're competing for the job. But, the competition's been good. Hopefully we can get Matt back on the same plane that he was when I had him in L.A., and I think Special K is going to be really good too down the road. So it should be a hell of a competition.
Sorry, who's Special K? Who are we calling Special K?
Special K quite a bit. He's done.
What's it been like watching the two kickers compete?
Kicker. Special K. Would that be the Tokyo Toe or Matt Gay? Matt. I don't see special K there. Okay, cool.
Years after that. So
Let's
it's
actually
helping.
go to
He's
players.
really, really good capacity to work so far.
What does Saguna Alubi add to your units?
He's a difference maker type guy. You know, he's blocked punts in the league. He obviously had one against the Raiders last year.
Oh, we're talking about. Okay, that's fine. Okay, Quay Walker's. Okay, I actually want to hear this. Let's see what Quay Walker has to say. This is Quay Walker answering questions for interviews. So we are gonna listen to this, and I kind of want to just gauge how he answers the questions, how he processes the questions, because Quiddipe is going to be our interior linebacker starter and most likely defensive coach, defensive leader with the green dot. So what he says is important. So we're gonna listen. We're gonna analyze and hopefully learn something cool about the Raiders this season. Let's go.
You mentioned how excited you were to be teaming up with Nakobe Dean.
Exactly.
On the flip side
I
of
am
that,
too.
How disappointed has it been that you haven't really been able to take the field with him yet?
Not disappointed at
I
all.
wouldn't quite say it's been disappointing. I just know he here every day. So I still have a job to do myself, you know what I'm saying? You never know what happened or whatever the case may be, but
So he just said that Nakobe Dean is actually there every day? Because we haven't seen him. We do know, at least we haven't seen him on the field. We do know he's taking team pictures. So if he's taking pictures, but we haven't seen him on the field, that must mean that he's battling a little injury. Which is fine. Which is fine. The way Nakobe Dean plays, the position that he plays, he's kind of prone to injuries, but for what he does, he actually doesn't get severely injured for a super long time. He will miss 2, 3 games per year, though, so that is kind of something to look forward to. Because that is kind of something to consider. Because I've said this before, the Raiders' weakest unit is actually a linebacker. Of course, that's why we went out and got 2 linebackers, Nakobe Dean and Quay Walker, both of them coming from Georgia. Um, so we actually have several teammates. The Raiders defense has 3 Georgia players, right? And we also drafted 2 Arizona safeties this past year. So that's going to be something cool to watch. But as I've said this before, the Raiders linebacker core that is our weakest unit of the defense, and it's been our weakest unit for a really long time. The last good linebacker that we had was probably Robert Spillane, and before that, I think it was Kirk Morrison. We we've had a very very bad linebacker core for a long time for the Raiders, and that's why they're trying to fix it now by bringing in 2 new people. So
he's still here every day. That's all I can really say as of now.
Quay, you have an extremely high football IQ. I mean, at Georgia, 3 years waiting to get in that starting lineup, but when you did, you burst on. And that has helped you throughout your career. You're always getting better.
Mm-hmm.
Would you talk about where that drive comes from with you, please?
Honestly, I think it came from me not actually playing inside linebacker before I got to college. So I had to learn it. And it took me a little while, especially with being in the Kirby Smart system. It was so much that he put on inside linebackers. And
yeah,
it was new for me. I felt like football was new because I had to learn how to play inside. Sometimes it's easy to let your instincts like just take over and play, but
okay, so that's a good point that he made there because Quay Walker's actually big enough that I'm pretty sure he played edge in high school. I'm pretty sure his position was actually edge because when you check his height and weight, he's a really good size for edge. But if you're a really good size for edge, maybe you're just a little bit maybe a bit too tall or something like that, and then move it to the linebacker. Needless to say, he's quick enough to play the linebacker position, right? Because the difference between edge and linebacker is you got to be able to go somewhat side to side. Nakobe Dean is going to be more of your side to side than he is. Nakobe Dean is going to be a lot quicker. But as a linebacker, the main difference would be if you have the perfect size to be an edge and you're still a linebacker, it probably means that you're quick enough to be able to do side to side or good enough in coverage that, yeah, it's better to make you a linebacker rather than wasting those talents on edge. And you can still do the edge stuff on blitzes, right? So
you can miss one assignment and it can be an explosive or a touchdown. And Kirby ain't really he much nicer than the way he is now.
mm-hmm.
I mean, he wasn't as nice as he is now. Is what I meant to say. But so anything I would do, I know he would be real hard on me, so that kind of played a factor in it. And I remember trying to transition back to outside linebacker because that
Okay.
was kind of natural for me. And
So
I
you
felt like
played
I could do
outside
that
linebacker.
with
Okay.
dropping the coverage and doing stuff like that. But honestly, man, I just always try to attack every day and see how can I become a better player. I'm so hard on myself to the point where
So outside linebacker, suppose he played in a 3-4, because I do believe that I do believe they played in 3-4 at Georgia. Outside linebacker will be that will backer who also does blitz, kind of like a makeshift edge linebacker. Again, when I check the size, height, and all that, yeah, I think he's a much better middle linebacker. If he's got the smarts, which he does, he's got the speed, he can tackle, he can cover. Inside linebacker is really good.
any little thing that goes wrong, I kind of beat myself up about it. So I'm just trying to give myself a little grace. That's what I've been working on this offseason. Anytime something go wrong, just give myself some grace and try to have a next play mentality so I can, move forward because I know it's a lot to come. You know what I'm saying? I can make a play that next play, although I probably gave up something or whatever the case may be. So I'm just trying to move with the right mindset.
I've been impressed watching you teach. I watched you the other day, the day you got the interception, teaching Cody. What has been your impression? He's a young guy, but a sponge.
That's Cody Lindenberg. That's one of our young linebackers. Again, that's our weakest unit, linebacker. So again, bringing in some experience to that unit is really good because we have Cody Lindenberg and then we have Tommy Eichenberg, and both of them are 2-3 year pros, late round pick. They haven't really emerged yet. That's why we needed so much help in the linebacker. But hey, bringing in people who've already been there might be good to kind of jolt those guys back to what we think they're capable of doing. But right now, neither Cody or the other guy are performing quite well enough to. Again, we brought in 2 new linebackers. That tells you all you need to know.
Like you were when you were young.
Honestly, man, Cody is a guy who's tremendously smart, knows everything, know where everybody's supposed to be going and stuff like that. It's certain things that I feel like I can help him with as in being off the quarterback, whatever it may be, just any little thing. So any advice I can give him, I try to just give it to him.
Okay.
And he's like a sponge. He soak up anything I give to him. He don't feel any type of way. I don't try to be on him as much. I still allow him to be himself. But if I can help in any way, I just try to do that. And he always listens to me. So shout out to Cody.
So here's the thing. Cody Lindenberg is actually probably going to be a starter, especially in the 3-4. Unless we move Max Crosby to the backside there or Malcolm Coons, I feel like Cody is going to be a starter. So yeah, the linebacker core makes me nervous. But let's just put it that way. Nakobe Dean was my number 1 target for free agents, so I'm glad we got him. Quay Walker coming in also is just an extra bonus. But again, the linebacker core is going to be the most nerve-wracking core of the Raiders defense because I do think that is the number 1 weakness that we have once again.
Oh, sure.
What's been the benefit of having so many guys on the defense that can play multiple spots?
Say it again for my head.
What do you think is the benefit of having multiple guys on the defense that can play multiple spots?
Positions, yeah.
Honestly, man, it's a lot for offense going in that week ahead of. So, say.
Okay, the question was, what is the benefit of having so many players who can play so many different positions on the defense? Okay, I'm gonna push back against that right away and say, no, we don't. We don't have so many people who can play so many positions. What he's talking about is someone who can play the down positions like a Malcolm Coons. But I've said this before. I think Malcolm Coons is a linebacker that just has a really good movement, so they make him edge. But as you can tell, he hasn't really performed that well as an edge. So I wouldn't mind moving him to outside linebacker at 240 with that speed. I think that's the best position for him. So I'm going to push back. I'm going to say, no, the Raiders do not have many people who can play many different positions. What we have is people who can fit a certain scheme really well, and that scheme happens to be a scheme that allows them to be versatile is good. That's a 3-4. It's not that they can play many different positions. It's that giving us the option to sit down, hand in the grass, or standing up, Malcolm Coons, may be really useful. But it's not a matter of he can play many different positions. This is what he's good at. But can we scheme him up in a way that's going to make him more effective? And like I said, that's why I believe we're moving to a 3-4 defense. Can we make all these guys more effective in what they do? Because we just don't have any clear superstars on the defense outside of Max Crosby, there are no clear like superstars that like we build around. Even Max Crosby is a superstar, but compare Max Crosby to a Mouse Garrett, right? Not on the same level. So
Defense is we're playing the second defense is week one, and the team is just trying to get us together, whatever the case may be, and they present, you know what I'm saying, our defense. You know, we have a lot of guys that play this, play that, you know what I'm saying, they just move around in a lot of areas. So now it's kind of hard to scout against us and tell what we are doing. Like, say for instance, I'm on the line, you never know if I'm gonna drop or if I'm gonna rush.
Oh, this is so good. Okay, so he said if I'm on the line, you don't know if he's going to pull back or rush. Okay, he's talking about being on the line from the linebacker position. So when we're playing nickel, think the mug position in the nickel. The mug position is when the two linebackers gonna push up against the line, right? That gives the offensive line the idea in their mind that who's rushing and who's pulling back. Again, remember, Quay Walker used to be an outside linebacker, so he knows how to cover. So if you move him up to the line of scrimmage, you're going to give the impression that a blitz is coming or you don't know what he's going to do. That's what he's talking about here. And that's the type of versatility that I believe changing to a 3-4 defense is supposed to give you. Namely, that you don't know who's coming and you don't know who's going. And we have enough movement on both of those two levels that anyone could come and anyone could go. We can blitz in somebody, we can pull anybody back. Just create more confusion. But I don't see Quay Walker doing a ton of that. I've said this before. I have a short about this saying that he's basically going to be the anchor on defense. Nothing gets past you, because once it gets past you, then you're talking about defensive ends. He will blitz every now and then, but I'm not expecting a ton of blitzes from him, right? Most of that should be coming from Nakobe Dean. So I do think he's going to be more of an anchor. But again, having somebody like him who can run, mugging on the line would create confusion for the offense. So
you know what I'm saying, whether that's to the field or the boundary, same thing with Chin, Quiddy, no matter what the case may be, Max. It just a whole lot, you know what I'm saying? It kind of helps and play hand in hand with the whole defense, I'll say.
Okay.
As one of the leaders on this defense, how satisfied are you with the progress that you guys have made this offseason as you wrap it up? And
that's
also,
a good question.
What's the message so that when you hit the pause button here, nothing gets lost, that you guys hit the ground running and training?
I'm gonna start with the last question. Honestly, man, just staying in the playbook, you know what I'm saying? Because this is new. We've been challenged in different ways. I'm playing more positions that I probably ever played in my career, but this is a challenge that I'm willing to accept. This is what I've always wanted to do. I always wanted to be a guy who can move around and play multiple positions.
Right. Okay.
And honestly, man, where we at right now, we're growing each and every day. That's all you can ask for. A lot of teams are preaching the same thing around this time. So how are we going to separate ourselves in order for us to get to what we want to get and to get what we can get out of, you know what I'm saying, the OTAs in this offseason? So we just got to stay locked in with it and just have the mindset. And as a leader, it's my job, I feel, as if come in with the right mindset and making sure that guys can match my energy, whatever the case may be.
Okay. What's the difference in last year playing in a 4-3 defense and playing what's expected to be a 3-4? What's that preparation been like, and how do you think you adapt to it?
Honestly, I think football is football at the end of the day. I think there's no system that I can't play in.
That is such a good answer. Football is football at the end of the day. When he was in Green Bay, they ran a 4-3, which made him a pure inside linebacker, right? But in a 3-4, there's technically two inside linebackers, right? So that would mean that you could be switching those two off again to create more confusion as far as where the pressure is going to come from. But to a linebacker, a 4-3 and a 3-4 are the same thing defensive wise. You got your assignments, you run your assignments. The 3-4 only mostly changes for the D line. Because of that extra linebacker, it really is only there to create more pressure. But for Quay Walker, he's going to be doing the same thing no matter what. Same job, 3-4, 4-3. That doesn't change for him.
And I'm just speaking so highly of myself. But football is football at the end of the day. It's kind of similar because I played in 3-4 my first 2 years in the league. Not only that, at UGA, I did the same thing.
Yeah. Again, you played in 3-4 in Georgia. So
just being comfortable with that. And that's kind of it. I don't really say it's a difference. I feel like scheme-wise, it kind of is, but at the end of the day, football is still football. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I can say.
And that was a perfect answer. At the end of the day, football is still football. The only difference is scheme. Again, 3-4 is meant to create more pressure from the backers, and create more confusion on the line. But at the end of the day, like you said, football is football. 3-4, 4-3, it's still football. Doesn't really matter. It just changes the scheme up just a bit. Really good answer. All right, who else did they interview? Let's see. I think AJ Cole. Not. I've heard enough about AJ Cole, so we can move on from AJ Cole. Let's see what Jalen has to say. All right, this is Jalen. What's his name? Jalen Noah. Jalen Naylor.
Becoming one of our Spartans. And the thing that's always stood out with you is everybody has speed. Yesterday, I flew out here in 2018 to interview you about going back to becoming one of our Spartans. And the thing that's always stood out with you is everybody has speed. But your brain, your football IQ, you're able to read things, to adjust. And it's just continued to get better. For you, at this level in your career, how do you continue to do that?
I'm just trying to find ways to improve, no matter what it is. If it's seeing things that the younger guys are getting, seeing that type of stuff. And I just play that in my mind. It's like I'm taking the reps. So I try to take those mental reps and just build on that type of stuff to where once I do get in, I see that coverage or I see how the defense is playing, I can adjust and do what I got to do.
Yeah.
Obviously.
So he's big. I didn't realize how big he was. He is gonna be a receiver, but I feel like Malik Benson is the person that I'm looking for the most of our receiver core to break out. Because if Malik Benson can break out, the type of breakout that he's going to have would make him a really good number one receiver. Jalen Naylor has been in the league for a while, so if he's going to break out to be a number one, he probably will have done it already. So I'm thinking more like he's going to be like a third or fourth receiver, right? But he's got the size. He's got the size. You see the muscles. I mean, he's built for it. I don't know how fast he is, but he does seem like he's pretty fast. But again, I'm hoping for Malik Benson to break out. Malik Benson to break out of the wide receiver core as a rookie and become something, because I think he just has a little bit more of what I would like to see from a ex receiver.
Have some experience playing with Kirk Cousins in Minnesota. Does that chemistry really kind of just pick back up where it left off when you get out here?
Pretty much. It feels like that. So I mean, we just trying to grow as a group, as a whole offensive unit, and just having that chemistry with Kirk it's been great so far, and we're just trying to keep on building on that.
See any differences in him kind of over that past two stops now getting here and you guys are together again?
No, I wouldn't say. I would say Kirk's the same guy he was 4 years ago. He still has those dad jokes that he loves to bring, and just
quick pause. I believe the Knicks just won, so they're up 3-1 now. Hopefully, no one gets hurt in New York. Just relax. You don't need to attack fans. It's okay. Just relax. So 3-1 Knicks with a good comeback apparently. So that's good. We'll see what happens there. I don't follow basketball, but the Knicks haven't won in a long time. If the Knicks win, hey, trust me, New York is going to lose its freaking mind, and that's okay.
The energy that he brings to the team, and when guys are making plays, he's the first one celebrating and just being happy for us to go out there and make plays.
Obviously, the Raiders making an investment in you, and on your part, there's a projection how am I going to fit into this offense? What's my role going to be? It's been a couple months, I guess, now through OTAs and the offseason program. How do you see that evolve?
Yeah, I want to know.
Just trying to be a guy that can play all over the field. I think Coach Kubiak does a great job of just getting his playmakers the ball.
That's true.
It's not just myself, but we got Trey, we got Brock, we got those guys that can do multiple things in the offense, and that's what's going to separate us as a unit. Just to have guys just move around. You never know where they're going to be at on a single play.
Okay.
Do you feel though, if it is potentially an increased role than it was in Minnesota, that you could flourish in a bigger?
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to the challenge. I see myself as a guy that can have that jump from snaps and just be who I am, you know, and
Okay.
just try to make plays when I'm called upon and try to bring guys with me.
In 2018, when you were contemplating moving to Michigan, it was home, family, how much you love the Valley. How special was it that now your journey is bringing you back and where you get to be back?
It's a blessing, you know.
Okay, that's enough from that. We're gonna. I'll have to see what he does because I don't know. I don't know what he's capable of. I've never really seen him play, but yeah, we'll see what he's capable of doing once the game starts. We're gonna end that segment there because I do want to talk about the defensive backs and what's happening there and how we expect them to function on this team. So that's what we're gonna do now. Basically, the way that I always do it. So we're gonna start that segment now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's your boy. So, Raiders defensive backs. They are going to be extremely important this year. Probably the most important units because the Raiders defensive backs is the most unsure unit of the Raiders. Who the starters are on the Raiders defensive backs, we don't know. I can tell you for a fact there's only one starter right now, and that's Eric Stokes, right? That's the only starter on the defensive backs, Eric Stokes. After that, everybody else on the defensive end is not sure yet. I can also tell you that Tradian Stokes will probably be the starting safety because we drafted him in the second round, and he's a really good college safety. So he will probably be the safety, but even that's not decided yet. So in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each one of our defensive corners and safeties, outline their profile. Who are they? What are they good at? Are they fast? Are they good in coverage? What are we looking at? So that's what we're going to do here. And we should start with Stokes because Stokes is going to be your starter at one side of the defensive backs. So we go down to S. Stokes. All right. Eric Stokes. Already, this is good news. So Eric Stokes is 27 years old. He's a pro. He's been in the league for 6 years. He got a 3-year contract, a 3-year extension. So he should be with the Raiders for the next 2 years at least. Might get traded after that if he wants a new if he wants a new contract. Because we do have some young players, as you will see. But Eric Stokes is a very good prototypical corner. How do you know? Look at his height. Look at his weight. 6'1", 193. Yeah, this is a prototypical outside corner. That's him right here. His job is corner, outside corner. Take the first guy, take him out of the play. Good news. Other good news. Eric Stokes is good. He comes out of Georgia. He comes out of the same Georgia team that Quay Walker and Kobe Dean comes from. That championship Georgia defense that was shutting everything down. And Georgia's defense is still shutting everything down because Georgia is just really good at defense, right? So that's where Eric Stokes comes from. The problem is he's been injured a few times, and then the Green Bay had to let him go because of injury. Eric Stokes, I believe, was picked 22nd in the first round because he's a good corner without injury. The good news is this. Last year, Eric Stokes did not get injured. Or maybe he missed one game, right? He missed one game there. So this is Eric Stokes last year. He missed one game. 0 interceptions, right? 0 interceptions. However, the ball didn't really go his way very much. There's a reason Eric Stokes got a 3-year contract. Yeah, because he balled out. He was good, really good. So I can guarantee you right now, that the only starter that we have is Eric Stokes on the defense, on the defensive back. He is the starter. He was drafted first round 29th, right? 45 games, 32 starts, solo tackle. He doesn't get a lot of interceptions. He doesn't, but he also doesn't seem to get a lot of passes thrown his way. Now, That could be because the Raiders last year, other side was Darian Porter, who was a rookie, didn't play too badly. We're going to talk about him later. So Eric Stokes wasn't really challenged a ton last year. Expect more challenge to come this year. But like we said, he is a first round talent out of Georgia, right? So he should be familiar with how to play that position, even when he's getting a lot of targets. But at 6'1", 193, he is a very prototypical outside linebacker, and he will be the starting linebacker for starting defensive back for the Raiders when the season starts. Okay, next let's move on to what's his name? Porter. Darian Porter. Because Darian Porter is an interesting case. A really interesting case. Again, look at the size, look at the height. We're talking cornerback. We're talking pure outside cornerback. 2 years in the league. Age-wise, I kind of wish he was a bit younger. He's already been in the league for 2 years, going into his third year, and he's already going to be 26 years old. So he doesn't have a ton of time here to break out and really prove himself. No interceptions. He pretty much played one. He ended the season, missed a few games here and there, didn't start the season. I think somebody else started the season, and then he eventually won the starting job. As you can see, he won the starting job. He took it over. The starting job is his. What can he do with it now? That's kind of the next question. So the big thing with Darian Porter is he's fast. He's really fast. However, Darian Porter didn't start playing cornerback till I believe his last year of college. Before that, he was a wide receiver. And then he started playing cornerback. Again, the good news is 195, 6'2". He has a size, he has a speed. The technique is what is missing. So at age 25, if he starts his breakout this year, Darian Porter does have the potential to be a short down corner if he can pick up the technique. The question is starting a corner career so late in college, are you really going to be able to kind of keep that up through the NFL? So far, honestly, not too bad. Again, last year he played a ton of games. He did give up some stuff last year, but again, that's kind of to be expected. So we're not talking about a career backup here. There is some potential here for him to be a legitimate starter. I would say though, he's got some work to do. The age will be a factor here. So if he can kind of pick it up pretty quickly, we might have we might have something pretty cool on our hands with him. So that's the good news with him, right? That's what we're talking about there. All right, let's move on to the next person because with him, here's where it gets interesting because now competition is going to start playing a key role. And let's bring up Masses. Hezekiah Masses. There is a breakdown on him coming as well. M. Masses. Masses. Okay, Hezekiah Masses is already the competition is already started for camp. Right now, there is a massive competition for the second starting corner. Remember, Stokes is the first. The second, it could be Darian Porter because he did it last year, but he's gonna have to hold on to it because Hezekiah Masses is already pushing him. And here's the thing with Hezekiah Masses. He can get takeaways. Yes, he's a rookie, 21 years old, because again, remember, he's only 21. Darian Porter is already 25. When Darian Porter came into the league, he came into the league at around 23 years old. At 21 years old, we've got something here. 6'1", 185. That's really, really good size again for outside linebacker. 1 or 2 more years in the league, maybe he will move to like 187 to like around 190, become even more of a standard outside corner. So Hezekiah Masses is an outside corner. He's not a slot corner. He is not a safety. He is an outside corner. And when I release his tapes that you're going to see, you're going to see the number one thing about him is some way, somehow, he just knows how to get around the ball and get takeaways. And he's not bad at takeaways. when you see him play, the number one question you're going to ask yourself is, how did he get that interception? How did he end up in the right position to not deflect the ball, but to get the interception? That's the thing with Ezekiah Masses. He played at Cal. So he's coming from Cal. Cal this past year, as it wasn't great. Cal hasn't been great for some time, but it's okay because he did play well, right? And then he earned second team All American, right? So he played well enough to get some accolades and then to get drafted. He got drafted late. I believe we drafted him in the 6th round, right? So we're not talking like somebody who is here to take over. But when you watch him play, his ability again to somehow get in position to get the interception, this might be the thing that really, really works. Okay, he played 3 seasons at Florida International before transferring to California for his senior year. Unfortunately, California wasn't that good this past year, so he didn't really fully get to shine. But he did get 7 interceptions, right? And I believe this is throughout his entire career, right? Played 49 games, 152 tackles, 5.5 tackle for loss, and 7 interceptions. This 7 interceptions is what you're looking for, because he played 3 seasons at Florida, right? So 3 seasons, maybe red shirt year, he didn't play that much. Second year, he might have gotten a little bit more play. Third year is when he became a full-on starter and did well enough to transfer to Cal Berkeley. So, the upside here is big. The upside here with him is massive. So I would say the upside is masses. He's got upside in masses. The question is, can he put it together in the pro level to keep getting those interceptions? Because if those interceptions don't come, yeah, then I'm kind of interested to see what he'll become. But again, good size, good height. Darian Porter is still the better size and the better height at 6'2", 195. He's got him beat by 1 inch and 10 pounds. Trust me, again, that does matter. So, but this is the current competition for starter, right? This is the current competition between Masses and Darian Porter. All right. After that, let's go back to the top here and let's see what we got. Chigozie, 25, 2-year, 6'1", 200 pounds. What kind of pushing safety at that point? Who did he play for? Okay. We're going to leave him behind. We'll see what he does, but he's going to be a special teamer. All right, who else we got? Okay. Taron Johnson. All right, so Taron Johnson is going to be your slot corner, right? Taron Johnson is a slot corner. Why? Well, the one reason I can think of why Taron Johnson would be a slot corner is 5'11". I'll keep saying it. I'll keep saying it. In football, your size and your height does matter. At 192, good size. At 5'11", outside receivers are just going to outjump you, right? Inside receivers, though, you may have something there. That's why he plays a slot corner. And Taron Johnson happens to be one of the better slot corners in the league. And as you can see, last year for the Bills, right? Last year for the Bills, he played quite well. He played for the Bills, right? Yeah, for the Buffalo Bills, good team. He started for the Buffalo Bills, as you can see, and he played well. Namely, he's very good defensively at that slot position, right? He is not an outside corner. You can probably play outside corner. But yeah, he's going to be going up against more of the smaller receivers, the receivers who are around 5'11", 6'1", rather than going up against the 6'3", 6'4" receivers. Even though most receivers in the NFL would be around 6'2", 6'3". But again, we're talking inside guy, possibly safety, although I don't think he's going to be playing safety very much for the Raiders. But most definitely inside corner, he's going to lock that down. He will be a starter. He will be a nickel package guy. Remember, we're moving to a 3-4, right? Once you move a 3-4, once you get to the 3-4, even from 4-3, if you spread those linebackers out more, you can bring in somebody smaller with more speed. That would be somebody like Taron Johnson to cover the slot in the nickel there. So that one was a really good pickup. We paid him pretty good money. So if he shows up, we'll see that. We're gonna get to safeties. The safeties are coming next. Do not worry about that. Let's see if we can find any more corners here to talk about. We already talked about him. There we go. Jamad McCoy. Okay. This is going to be the biggest story for the cornerbacks of the Raiders. Jamad McCoy is a rookie. Not only that, Jamad McCoy is 20-year-old rookie. 20 years old. Jamad McCoy is a pure outside corner. Pure outside corner. He will do nothing else. 6'1", 193. Excellent size for outside corner. And if you see him play, yeah, Jamad McCoy is big. Jamad McCoy looks big. He looks big. And he is big. Darian Porter has 2 inches on him, and you can tell because those 2 inches, Darian Porter will be noticeably taller with 2 inches. But when you see Jamad McCoy looks more like a built for corner because he's got the size. Okay. The story with Jamad McCoy, as most of you know, is he is a first-round talent. In fact, Jamad McCoy is a top 10 talent. The problem is knee injury. He dropped to the 4th. If the knee is fine, that's a big if. If the knee is fine, Jamad McCoy should be the next Charles Woodson for the Raiders. I'll just throw it out there. I'm just going to drive that gauntlet down right there. The best corner the Raiders have ever had, Heisman Trophy winner and Hall of Famer Charles Woodson. Jamad McCoy has what it takes to be as good in terms of skill. The problem is his knees may not hold up in the NFL. Jamad McCoy's injury is bad enough that his NFL career may be no more than 4 to 6 years. That's the downside. Even though he's only 20 years old, we may only get 6 years out of him, maybe 4, maybe none at all. There is a possibility, even though right now it seems like a really small possibility, that Jamad McCoy doesn't even play football ever again because his knee injury was pretty bad. Okay, if he comes back though, Jamad McCoy has the speed, he's got the size. Oh, and when you watch him in coverage, his number one trait is he knows how to use his body to box out the receiver. Okay? Basically, to put the receiver on the outside, essentially to never get beat by the receiver, to use his body to essentially block off the receiver. And then from there, you can make the plays necessary to deflect or to get the interception. If Jamad McCoy works out, Jamad McCoy will end up being one of the biggest steals in the NFL draft in the past very long time. If he pans out, but the knee is bad, and you can see the Raiders don't even have any profile on him, right? Can we bring something up? See, what Raiders aren't even really talking about him at all. Summary, there's really nothing, right? There's nothing written up on him. The reason for that is everybody knows who Jamad McCoy is, but everybody also knows that Jamad McCoy may not really be anything in the NFL because of that injury. So we are just praying that if this kid is fine, if he is fine, we may have just found the next Charles Woodson. I've seen the tapes. I have it posted. You can go watch it. He is as good as advertised. Watch the way he uses his body to create spacing or to take away the spacing from the receiver. Another best case scenario, like someone like Darian Porter kind of sits underneath Jamad McCoy, even though Darian Porter is like 5 years older. Jamad McCoy is a pure outside corner. He's been playing that position his entire life. He got into college playing that position. He was good in Tennessee for that position. So he has a lot of knowledge that he can impart. If he can impart that knowledge, somebody like Ezekiel Massis or Darian Porter may benefit. But the most ideal situation is that he himself breaks out and that injury doesn't become a factor and it remains a good outside linebacker for the Raiders and becomes the next Charles Woodson. That's the hope. Okay, Now we're gonna move on to safeties. Let me see if we got any more corners. Even those who are not gonna be starters. Okay, Greedy Vance. Actually, Greedy Vance. Greedy Vance. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Greedy Vance is an inside corner. Again, how do I know? 5'9", 177. That's slot corner. That we're not even going to debate that because at 5'9", no, I don't want you going up against 6'2", 6'3" wide receivers. And at 177 corner, slot corner, right? We can all clearly see that he's going to be slot corner. He hasn't played a ton. Undrafted free agent from USC, already 24 years old. Let's hope. But at 5'9", now here's a good thing. At 5'9", lower to the ground. Remember, height, weight matters in the NFL. And just because you're short doesn't mean it's all bad. There's upside. Lower to the ground, meaning it should be able to get down quicker to make those tackles, right? Also, at 5'9", in the NFL, 177 probably means it's quite fast, right? Meaning like somebody like, think of the fastest slot corners. He should be able to keep up with them. But that being said, he is going to just be a backup slot corner, right? Okay. I don't think I missed any corners. All right, that's it. That's everyone. Oh, the Cameron Richardson. Okay, the reason I missed him is I didn't even know he's still on the team. So the Cameron Richardson is a weird story. I don't really know why he's not emerging. Third year, 25 years old. You can see again, 6'2", 192. That is perfection. That is the perfect size, height, weight, everything. He just hasn't emerged. That's it. We thought last year he would emerge. Last year we really thought that he would emerge, and he started. I think he got injured. And then just kind of, bam. Eric Stokes took over, and Eric Stokes never let go of that position. So again, maybe a bounce back, but the bounce back needs to happen now because he's on his contract year, fourth year. Yeah, contract year. At 25, he would love to get a first. He would love to get his first payday to lock in at least a 1 year, $6 million contract at the end of next season. That's what he would love, right? At in the best case scenario, play so well that he gets himself a 3 year contract. But I don't know. We're gonna have to see. Okay, that should pretty much cover all of the DBs. Caleb Alford. He's going to be UDFA. Yeah, rookie. Kennesaw UDFA. Okay. Good note here though. Again, remember 6'2", 193, pure outside corner. I've said this before. The biggest competition this year for the Raiders is actually the cornerback position. That's the biggest competition for the Raiders. Most of everyone we have are rookies. Most of everyone we have are rookies or young. So we don't know who's starting outside of Eric Stokes. And even if Jamal McCoy stays healthy, even Eric Stokes may not be a factor because if Jamal McCoy is healthy, he might be starting that position, right? So lots and lots of competition there. I think he's a UDFA, but if he's in the NFL, it's because he's got something. 6'2", 198. He played out of small college. That's why he's a UDFA. But with 6'2", 198, if he's got some speed, we may have something. And also a potential safety, because the safety is going to be around 205. I prefer my safeties around 207, 210. If he can put on some muscle, push to around 205, possibly, maybe safety, but we'll see. Okay, I do believe that's it. I actually do believe that's it. Let me check this dude out real quick. I know he's a wide receiver. I just want to see what upside there is. 27. Okay, yeah. All right. Okay, now we are going to move on to safeties, right? And the safeties will be the last people we cover on this stream. So safeties. So the safety position is another position where there's going to be a lot of questions and a big battle going on. The only thing I can say about safety is this: I am pretty sure that Tradian Stooks is going to be the starter at free safety, not slot safety. I don't think we're going to make him slot. I do believe we want to make him a free safety for sure. So let's check out his status. Okay. Now you're kind of starting to see a little bit of difference in the size and the weight. Again, football is so precise that, again, size, weight, all of that does matter. So the big thing with Tradian Stooks is he can play every single position. But remember, with him, he's an old rookie. He's 24 years old as a rookie. COVID years, college players couldn't really, because of that, he had to stay in college longer. But the upside with him is he is extremely football smart. He's played a lot of football in college. He was a college player coach, essentially. Everybody in college was saying that, yeah, he was pretty much the go-to guy on the defense who just knows everything on the defense. And that's still the case. In the NFL right now, at camp, Tradian Stooks just seems to be the guy who just knows everything that's happening on the defense. With that being said, he also plays slot corner. So 6'2", 200, good size for outside corner and good size for safety. Where do I really want him? I want him as safety. I want him as safety. The reason why is when I saw his play and I thought, okay, he'll make a much better safety than corner. He doesn't have as much breakaway speed as you would want from a corner. He's fast, don't get me wrong. He's fast. And he's really good in coverage. He also knows how to use his body well. But safety just fits him better. Safety fits him better, right? Especially if in the next year we can go up to like 205. And here, we're not talking box. I'm talking free safety. No shackles on him. Free safety. Back there, playing the deep third. He will be coming down, but when he comes down, he's going to be safety. He's going to be the field general from the back. That's what I played in high school. So field general from the back, nothing gets past him. If you see him play, if you go and watch his play, you will know that the chances of anything getting past this dude is actually pretty slim. He is very good in football. When it's all said and done, because of his age, if he plays the next 2 years really well, I believe he's going to get a contract extension by his third year. Because he's not going to be qualified for a 50-year option. So we're going to have to pay him by the end of his third year. I do believe he is going to get that contract because based on what we know, based on what we've heard and what we've seen, he's going to be a starter for the Raiders. And he's very good. Okay, so that should be the starting safety. All right, here's where it gets interesting. Who's going to be next to him? Okay, the number one person to think about is actually his best friend, like literal best friend, because they went to the same college. Where are you at, my man? Where are you at? Oh, Special K. Okay, Special K. I finally got it. Special K is, that's what we're calling our kicker, Tokyo Toe. We're kind of calling him Special K. I was like, Special K? Why are we calling, who's Special K? He is Special K. All right, where is my boy? There. No, not you. Dalton Johnson. Oh, so Dalton Johnson is the best friend of Tradian Stooks. He played strong safety at in Arizona. 5'11", 198. Again, 1 year younger than Tradian Stooks because COVID years. Strong safety, right? Strong safety. Maybe not even box safety. Let's see. I'm going to come back to him for 1 second because he may not be box safety, and I'm going to see why. I'm going to look for Jeremy Chin now. Jeremy C. Jeremy Chin is whoo-wee. Jeremy Chin is 6'3", 220. Yeah, that's a box safety. That is a safety that can play deep because it's 6'3", but will also come down. Jeremy Chin, he doesn't have enough speed to be a corner, right? Imagine if Jeremy Chin was fast at 6'3", 220, playing corner. You probably wouldn't even want that. You probably wouldn't even want that. What you would really want is for him to put on size and play the box safety at 6'3". So Jeremy Chin is going to be a box safety, which means that Dalton Johnson, we're gonna go back to Johnson now. Dalton Johnson at 5'11" should be your strong safety. And the reason it should be your strong safety is because strong safeties do play deep, but yeah, strong safeties also kind of want to push down a bit to potentially stop the run or make sure there's nothing gets above. If anything goes over the linebacker, the middle linebacker in the middle position, Dalton Johnson should be the one coming down to take those. But like I said, he's going to be a strong safety, not a box safety. That should be Jeremy Chin at 5'11", 198, maybe even slot corner. But safeties going into corners don't work. They don't really work that well because covering receiver from a safety position is vastly different from covering receiver from the cornerback position. Because with the cornerback position, most of the time you're five yards or even right in front of the corner receiver. And if you don't have enough breakaway speed, you might not play that well. So at 5'11", playing safety, I'm going to assume that he's not as fast as a corner. Should I be quiet? No, maybe not. See, he runs a 4.4. 4.41. 4.41 strong safety. That's good. That's really good for strong safety. But yeah. So okay. So with the 4.41 speed, okay, I could see him playing slot corner. I can see him playing slot corner. I don't want him playing outside corner though. I don't want him playing outside corner. Short corners, even though 5'11" isn't that short, it's not. But I still think it's gonna make a better safety than corner. So let's go with that. Because he's essentially the same. We just saw it. Terrence Johnson was just right there. Yeah, see, he's the same size and height as Terrence Johnson. So yeah, I think slot corner safety. That's what we're looking at. Terrence Johnson is a slot corner because, again, covering somebody from the corner position is different from covering somebody from the safety position. It's a different skill set. Terrence Johnson has that skill set. Dalton Johnson may not have that skill set. So that's gonna be your pure. That's gonna be your pure strong safety there, with Jeremy Chin playing the box safety position, right? Yes, both of them could be on the field at the same time, but most likely not, unless it's an injury to the other Johnson, in which case Arizona State Johnson will play the slot position and Jeremy Chin will play the safety position. The problem is Jeremy Chin didn't perform well enough last year that he may not even make the team, although I think he will. I'm looking for the other safety. Devin Lafayette. Okay, 6'2", 210. Okay, safety. Excellent. 6'2", 210. Good size. Remember I said I really probably prefer my safeties to be around 210. Great size. 6'2", 210. Yeah, that safety, not necessarily box, but that is strong safety free safety. Either one of those you'll cover. I don't know which one he's good at because he's a UDFA. out of Troy. So we'll see which one is good at. I don't even know his age. Doesn't really matter right now. But I think safety, safety for sure. Because at 6 foot, at 6'2", 210, the reason you did not play college in cornerback in college is because defending from the corner position is different from defending from the safety position. It's a different skill set. So that one's going to be good. We don't know what he's going to play, but there's some opportunities there. Tristan McCollum. Tristan McCollum, 27, safety, 6'3", 195, box safety. All strong safety. Not a lot of playing time, though. And Tanner Wall. Tanner Wall, rookie. Um, one thing to understand about football, if you see a white guy playing corner or safety, they're probably pretty good because that's not generally a position those guys play. It is just it's just one of those things, you know. But if he is good enough to be called up by the Mormons, because as you can see, he went to BYU to play a safety for them. Well, good. Good size, good height, 6'1", 205. I love it. Why is it safety, not a corner? He probably doesn't have enough speed to play safety. Sorry, to play corner. That's why he plays safety. Probably doesn't have enough speed to play corner. But really, really good height and size for both free safety and strong safety. Again, we're gonna need backups everywhere, so I believe he's going to be more of a backup to the free safety position. Because yeah, I'm loving all of this. This is good. This makes me very happy. I don't know how old he is. I'm hoping he's like 21 years old. This is making me very happy. There was another cornerback that safety that was drafted that I actually wanted the Raiders to draft. But what's his name from Oregon? Yeah, he got drafted, so we couldn't get him. But if this dude can become like that, great pickup. Great pickup. I don't think we have anybody else. And Devin Perkins, another UDFA, 5'10", 195. Oh, Dixie College. What is Dixie College, Utah? Okay, small state safety, 5'10". 5'10", playing safety at 195. I'm going to say speed is going to be the thing that he does. Oh, maybe he does have speed, but not enough. Oh, he's got the height. 5'10" outside. Yeah, I could see. Yeah, that's a safety. So again, I prefer corners, like pure corners, to be more 6'4", 6'1". 5'10". Yeah, I can see strong safety or free safety. Good size, good height. We'll see. There is a 5'10" person who plays corner. Used to play for the Raiders. Amik Robinson. Amik Robinson, though. Amik Robinson is different. Amik Robinson is what you would call a freak show because I believe Amik Robinson was like 5'9", playing the outside corner. But Amik Robinson can jump. He can really jump. And he's got really good positioning to know that he knows when to jump. Because if anyone's followed the Raiders in the past 10 years, you'll know what Amik Robinson means on the football field and why he belongs on the football field as a corner, even though he doesn't have a lot of size. He can jump, and his timing is perfection. The man knows how to jump at the right time. At 5'10", playing safety, it comes down to how quick are you? Can you jump at the right time to get the deflection? If you can jump at the right time to get those takeaways, even better. I'm going to assume that Devin Perkins doesn't do those well enough to where he got undrafted, but he's got the size, he's got the height, maybe he's got a little bit of speed. We're going to have to teach him some technique. But yeah, I think safety, strong safety, possibly free safety would be a good bet for him. We already talked about Tristan. And I do believe that we are done. Okay. Um, we already talked about Jeremy Chin, right? Yeah, we did. Jeremy Chin. There was somebody else that we didn't talk about. There was Jeremy Chin, and we had somebody else last year. Oh, they left. So we lost a bunch of safeties, man. Because we had Ronnie Lott, not Ronnie Lott, that's the 49er legend. Lonnie, whatever his name was. We had him last year. We lost him. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this very, very long breakdown. Sorry, this video is 40 minutes long, but I had to give you a full breakdown of the cornerback and the safety position for the Raiders. The cornerback unit is going to be the most undefined unit for the Raiders. It is the place we need the most help. It's the place we drafted the most and brought in the most UDFA, which also means that it is a place where the most amount of competition is going to happen this year. Will be the cornerback position. I don't know who's going to start at corner or safety. I can just tell you that probably Tradian Stokes will be a starting safety, and Eric Stokes will be one starting corner. That's about it. Everything else is pretty much undefined. So hopefully this year we get those numbers, we get those names. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. This was great. This was great. Thank you for watching. As always, see you guys again pretty soon. Okay, that's going to be the end of stream for today. It was just me, but it's okay. I'm going to be here as pretty much every day, same time, until this place starts to rock and roll a bit. So thank you guys for watching. As always, have a wonderful night. Grace and peace.